Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. This is Get Wrenching. I'm your host Murray. What are we doing today? Well, the Jeep hadn't been running very good in the past 6 months, and we diagnosed to one of these, a fuel injector. So I picked up a set of 8. We're going to replace these, and hopefully this thing runs a little bit better and maybe give me a little better fuel economy. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a sandwich and a beverage, and guess what? We're tearing into this. Okay, YouTube, if you're new to the channel, some of you may not know that I have a 2001 Jeep Grand Cherokee with the 4.7 liter PowerTech V8. It's not been running very good. Doesn't start very good. I'll enter the video in here. As you can see, takes a lot to start it up, and then after it gets running, it smells like raw fuel. So what's going on is number 8 injector is staying open. After you shut it off, it leaks down, has a bunch of gas on top of the piston, acts like a flooded condition, have to shut the throttle down in order to start, and then she'll go. And then you smell nothing but gas. The Jeeps are known for this. Yes. Could I probably took the injector out and cleaned it? Maybe. And then I would have had that, put it back in the vehicle. It's a lot of work to get these out, and then to find out maybe it didn't work. Now, mind you, I thought these were brand new injectors, which they are not. They're remanufactured. They say in small letters, I should say on eBay it said in big letters, new fuel injectors, but in small writing it says maybe remanufactured. And yes, they are. And they painted them orange. Looks like they took a stock injector and did whatever they did to it and painted orange. So let's get digging into this. This is not going to be a how-to. You're just watching me work. If you pick something up from it, great. If you don't, whatever. If you just want to watch me wrench, cool. So let's get into this. So YouTube, I got the air cleaner off, and now we're getting right to the meat and potatoes. So as you can see here, this is our coil packs, this is our fuel rail, and this is where the injectors are down in here. You can see there's a plug there, all the way along that fuel rail. Over on the other side's the same way. Number 8 is back there. You gotta love these new cab Ford designs. So this makes it a little challenging to get it there. So I remember when I was working on the Ford trucks, like the number 4 and the number 8 and 7 on that side was just crazy to get at. And this is, well, it's better. I don't need swivels and 1/4 inch this and that. They try to get out of the coil pack. So what you got to do first, you got to remove the coil packs out of the way so you can get access to the fuel rail. Hopefully by that time, we'll be ready to rip the fuel rail out. So let's get into it. Also, YouTube, almost forgot, before you tear all this stuff out, take an air tip and blow all that out of there, because what will happen, all that stuff will fall down inside your engines. But you do not want that. Also, I want to change the plugs today because this is a really good time to do it. This Jeep doesn't take platinum plugs, just takes regular old copper ones. So when I get the coil packs out of the way, I'll do it again where the spark plugs are, so that way they're all clean. Just a little tech tip just to help you out. If you're struggling or fighting, trying to get at a spark plug, or don't want dirt in your engine, there you are. YouTube, we got all the coil packs out. As you can see, there's all the driver's side. 2468, 1357. That's the passenger side. Well, now you can see I got all this wiring harness unplugged from the throttle body. All the vacuum lines are just routed up there. So now we can get at these little bolts that hold the fuel rail on. Plus, I have to remove this clip. And once we remove that clip from the fuel line, we'll have to use these to separate this fuel line to get it away. And once we unbolt everything, hopefully everything will come up in place. I did blow everything all off several times. I unplugged the injectors. Here's the other thing. These little red connectors over time get brittle from the heat. Especially this is a 2001. It's quite an old vehicle, really. You're talking 22 years old now. So yeah, she's no spring chicken anymore in the vehicle world. So those will not be going back on. They're like a little safety lock. Dodge did that for years. Did I ever replace them? No. Did I have any troubles with stuff coming unplugged? No. So guess what's going back on without these little red locks? The injector wires. So I'll set you up here and hopefully, before we set you up, I'll show you this one screw. So where are we? This little bugger right here. I hope for sure that we don't have any troubles with that. These are only small. And here in Nova Scotia, like I said, the salt eats everything here. And yes, it does eat bolts. And that might start off as 8 and probably be 5.5 mil by the time I'm done. Or a standard socket beat on. Just saying that, YouTube. Anyone who lives in the Rust Belt knows exactly what I'm talking about. So let's see if we can get this fuel rail apart.
Just like that, she's out. That's fuel line. Make sure to put that there because we're going to have fuel coming out.
That's right, old bud. Have some fuel. Let's see what size this is.
Yeah, but
hopefully.
Carburetors are like that too.
Hopefully.
There might be fuel in the lines. Yeah.
There ain't no way.
It's some spillage, but
just like that, YouTube. You see how that was done? You take this in there, you shove this fuel line all the way on, then you squeeze this together and then feed it all the way up and then give that a yank and she'll fly off. Okay, YouTube, I got all the bolts out of the fuel injector rail. The best looking bolt, this one, you see all that on the threads? That's aluminum. That came out hard the whole way. So that means that hole is going to be not very nice going back together. Here in Nova Scotia, not only does rust and corrosion affect regular metal, the aluminum, it gets deleted too. So let's hope we don't have any problems with this going back in. I'll clean it up the best I can. Pray to God I'll put some silver never sees on that because that's what should be going on this. I never had this apart before, so I'll turn around and show you. So here we are. All the bolts are removed. That was the one back there that gave me all the trouble. Over here, all the bolts and stuff are removed as well. So let's get that fuel line removed. This is what happens when your fuel injectors don't want to come out. A little bit of skunk piss down over them, aka WD-40. Let them soak in. Let that eat. So the fuel rail does not want to come out. I had to soak the fuel injectors down with WD-40. Nothing that I can do, YouTube. You don't understand. I think there's somebody out to get me, man, because I cannot touch anything without. Now, if I work at a garage, I'm not saying everything goes perfect at a garage either, but this is what the battles we deal with here in Nova Scotia. The corrosion, you just don't understand, man. I'm telling you, if it wasn't for corrosion, when I worked out in Alberta, literally in the shop that I worked at, we had a torch. The only time we used it was to cut U-bolts that wouldn't come off big trucks. The whole time I was there, we never used one bottle. Here at the garage, oxyacetylene, a week, if you're lucky. Oh, the struggles of being an East Coaster. It's pretty good, YouTube, when you got to use a 3-foot pry bar to get your injectors out of your car, and it's not a diesel. I ain't got very so much room to pry over here. Friggin' wire harness in the way.
Got more over here because the PCM's over here.
Yeah, that's what's going on, is it?
Yep. Because the PCM's over here.
I don't want to break the fuel injectors are still in it in case the other ones don't work. There's that. I think I deleted one.
What did you delete?
I broke the top off one. Bad. Pulled the tops off of two. Oh well, whatever. Well, YouTube, I got a little bit of a conundrum here right now. Got the injectors out, and I'll show you why they came so hard, and I'm glad I bought all 8, well, remanufactured injectors. Let's see if we can get you to focus here. Okay, or we zoom in. As you can see how that is, has split and swelled. Next one is the same way. And the rest of these are all swelled up here and split. You can see the crack right down, right there. And then these two are still stuck in the cylinder head. This is what I'm saying about working on vehicles in Nova Scotia. It sucks because the simplest flipping jobs turn into nightmares in seconds. Like that famous one, you're only, it's a 5-minute job until one bolt breaks. Even with just simple fuel injectors, it's never easy. So I'm going to struggle probably with pliers and stuff and try to get everything out and make sure that all the O-rings and stuff are out on that injector rail. And then we'll go back and we'll see if that number 8 injector is plugged up or what's going on. But what I see, if they're all swelled up, no wonder they're not performing properly. So this thing hopefully should run like $1 million. I just jinxed myself, I know it. So I'll be back with you. Okay, YouTube, earlier in the video I kind of screwed up there. this was sat there taking the spark plugs out and went, whoa, wait a minute, I better back up here. So on the driver's side, it goes 1, 3, 5, 7. Driver's side is 2, 4, 6, and 8. Got the spark plug. That's 1, 3, 5, and 7. As you can see, they look pretty good. And they're not champions, they're Autolites, which a lot of people say here lately that Autolite plugs are the better plugs. But this is what I was telling you on the passenger side. So here we have 2, 4, 6, and 8. Well, if you can see there, this is what I was talking about by that injector leaking down. No, this is not WD-40. This is raw gasoline. Nope, this is not gasoline that spilled into that cylinder and ran down the plug, because it didn't do that, because it was dry the whole way up the top. It was at the bottom. So that injector was definitely not working. So me and the young fellows been out here just jamming tunes, and we did get those 2 injectors out, which I had to use the old pliers. There he is there. You can see it's a Siemens. And you can see, where was the crack? Was it on this one? Maybe it wasn't this one. No, it wasn't. That one's out. But the other ones were swelled up pretty good and cracked up. Oh, also, you can see down, this is the holes where the injectors go. You can see they look just real awesome. But with just a quick blow there, with the little blow tip, you can see I cleaned them up fairly nice. I'm not going to film me putting spark plugs in, doing all that stuff. Yes, I'm running Champions. I know Mopar Joe out there has a t-shirt that says, Champions don't run Champions. I guess this guy must have listened to him because he had Autolites. Well, my old Dodge truck's got Autolites in it too, so, oh well. Champion plugs, whatever. I never had no troubles with them. Just got to figure out what the gap is there underneath the hood. What is it? 1.02 millimeter. Cool. Right on. Sweet. So I'll get at this, put these plugs back together, get them holes cleaned up, and then I'll show you the differences between the new injectors versus the old injectors. Okay, YouTube, I'm going to show you here a little better picture of this, and that way you can see the rust that come out of them. Let's see here. So there's one crack there. It'll focus in here. Maybe I can zoom right in. There we go. You see that crack there in that one. There's a crack there in this one. And there's a crack there. You can see the rust that's coming out around them. And there's one there. These are the 2 that decide to stay in the cylinder head. Don't see a crack in that one. But there's definitely a crack in this one. And that's the injector that left the chat, as the kids say nowadays. So she's not working like it's supposed to. I'd say the rest of these injectors were on their way of, like I said, they have left the chat. So I'll get these taken out. I'll show you the difference between the 2-hole and the 4-hole. Get them in the Jeep, get everything buttoned back up, and hopefully get this baby running by the end of the day. Okay, YouTube, I got the injectors out of the fuel rail. I got to show you something. You can see the crap that's in them. Right there, look. Ain't that lovely? Right out of my fuel rail. Right down into the injectors. So yeah, isn't that just magical? So, if you're wondering why these injectors are going to go bad, well, there you are. Lovely little bit of rust. Get down inside one of them 2-hole injectors, and it won't take much. And this is the reason why I discovered YouTube. I took one of the injectors out here, and where was it? Right here. It had a bunch of schmutz on her. If we can focus in instead, there we go. Had that all down around it. Like, wow. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to blow it out. Then I'm going to soak it with carb cleaner. I got lots of carb cleaner. Blow that out, let it dry, blow it out again dry, soak it again, let it have it again with it. Then I might spray some WD into it just to kind of help. I don't know. Just try to give it a fighting chance. I don't want no more crap coming out, so I want to give this a good flush. If I feel like it needs to be flushed with carb cleaner more times, I'm going to do it. So I'll get at that, and hopefully we can get all these fuel injectors. I hope they don't find no more. And yes, after a further examination, every single injector was cracked. I cleaned them up. They are all cracked. I was going to save a couple of them. I might save number 8 just to show you a demonstration on a 9-volt battery and carb clean and how to clean them. Sometime down the road, maybe. We'll see. Enough me jib jabbering. I got to get back at it. Okay, YouTube. As you can see there, this is the 4-hole. This is the 2-hole. And there's the difference there. So hopefully this will fit in the engine. Yes, I know this cap comes off. I'll remove that. So hopefully these injectors work good. Hopefully they're the same size. Hopefully they're not bigger. I really hope they're not bigger, like as in they won't fit. So I use some silicone grease around here, non-petroleum. You can get a special O-ring grease. This stuff is safe for that. It's not going to swell it up. You can use Vaseline, and I'm going to say gingerly. Vaseline has its place, and I find this stuff not that good. I usually use the brake silicones, what I usually use, high heat. Just a little dab will do you, just enough to lube up that O-ring so it slides in there nice. So I'm going to get these all installed in the fuel rail. And I'll set the camera up and you guys can watch me struggle doing that. Okay, YouTube. Injectors are in. And the fuel rails, I should say. There you are. All the clips are installed. These little locks that hold them in place. There's little special grooves in the top of the injectors. You can see there, these little grooves here hold these retainer clips. It snaps in place to keep them from falling out. All I have to do now is just grease up the tips, put it back in the Jeep, and just do reverse of everything that we did at the first of it. The plugs are all in. Once I get the injectors in and the rails tightened down, I'm going to take WD-40 and clean up all of my coil packs. And then I'm going to put some dielectric grease on the ends of the boots just to keep the water and stuff from going in. And then let's hope this starts up. And you too, just remember, when you guys and gals do this on your own vehicle, when you first fire it up, it's going to run like crap. It's going to miss. It might fart and go to it because you're blowing stuff down in the cylinders and WD-40 and cleaners and stuff. And also residual gas, which would run down, well, because you've seen how bad that injector was. So I know number 8, that cylinder is full of gas. So when I first fire it up, she might run like crap. I will show you that. And then I will show you the next day a cold start, because that's where it acts up the most. And sometimes it almost acts like my Edelbrock carburetor when you stop for, like 20 minutes or so and go in somewhere and come back out and go to start. And he's like, I'm not starting for you right now because I'm vapor locked. So I'll do that for you guys and gals tomorrow. So I'll get back at this and get these injectors in, and the next time you see it, she may be running. Okay, YouTube, we got everything in the car, or I should say in the Jeep. It's all hooked up except for the air box. I didn't want to go too far because the way the injectors fit down inside the cylinder heads, it didn't feel like they sat down the way you normally feel like and it just sat right down like snap. Well, these didn't do that, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed there's no leaks, and hopefully I don't have to go back at that again because that sucks. So let's hope she starts up great. Okay, now we're going to check for leaks. We're going to purge the system here. I don't see anything. So what I'm doing here, YouTube, is I'm just making sure, for me cycling the key a couple times, that it's not leaking out the fuel rails before I hit the go button. Here we go. Let's go. Like I say, she's going to run rough for a little bit. Okay, buddy. So YouTube, there you go. It's not leaking. It's running. Seems like, well, she had a little skip because this vacuum line's off. No big deal. You can hear how it revs. The throttle response is nice. So the next step would be to get the air box on and get this thing the heck out of here. And we'll go for a little road trip here to stay on the road and see how this thing is going to run. And I'm hoping it's running as good as it is right now. We've got no fuel leaks. I'm loving it. I did find a crack in one of my coil packs right here. So Monday, when Napa opens back up, I'll go down and we'll buy a coil pack. So let's get the air cleaner back on. Okay, YouTube, we're going to go for a little burn now down the road. The Jeep is running smooth. Like, this thing is not vibrating at all. Before, you'd feel a little tremble because it constantly have a cylinder 8 misfire. Well, now, got no check engine lights, no fuel leaks. Let's put her in gear and go for a rip. Rock. Also to YouTube, I did put new plugs, so I think I told you that, but just because I was there. They're normal old school type plugs, not platinum, so I figured I'd replace them while I was in there. And I haven't replaced them. And usually that's the first thing you do when you buy a vehicle. You replace all your fluids, especially if it's used, like 20 plus years old especially. I've replaced every fluid on this vehicle so far except for the transmission oil, because it was just done before I bought it, because you put a new transmission pan on it. So far so good, YouTube, especially at lower RPM. Yeah, nice and smooth. So far so good. We got the young fellow with me too, because he was helping me today. I didn't film putting everything back together because it's just a reverse of taking it apart, so I figured you guys and gals wouldn't want to watch that. Oh. Yep. Little snap there. She's running good. We'll get her up to temperature. That way we'll give it a real good test. We'll take her first, what we used to call the salt plant. Turn around and bring it back home. And then tomorrow, I'll have a cold start video, just to make sure none of these injectors are leaking down, because maybe these ones are doing it. I don't know. Another thing, YouTube, I probably could have went to the junkyard, and I probably could have went to a Cobalt or an HHR or one of those GM vehicles with a 2.2 or a 2.4. And I guess according to what they say, I think Martin built, he was another YouTuber there, he's right into Jeeps and stuff. He said that those injectors work really well, and they are a 4-hole. I probably could have saved myself some bucks if I'd done that, but then you run the risk of you got used. Well, I got remanufactured, so I guess I'm just as, yeah, I'm not really out much. Yeah. We got no bucking, no kicking. Everything feels good. Okay, YouTube, I'm going to let you go there now, and if I have any troubles, I'll bring you back. There you have it, YouTube. It's been about a week since I put those injectors in the Jeep. What a difference, man. That, I'm telling you guys and gals, what a difference that made on that Jeep. The starting, as you can see in the videos here, I'll do a little before. And here is the after. And as you can see, the difference is right there. There are 2 separate days. They're both cool days. Well, now it's not really cool here now. It's starting to warm up. Fuel economy, can't complain. Way better than what it was. And throttle response is unbelievable. So when you're on eBay and you see these injectors, they say remanufactured. They're supposed to be performance. They are the 4-hole. I removed the 2-hole. I'm telling you, it was a difficult job. If I lived in California or someplace with no rust, it'd probably be like real easy. Oh well. So that's going to conclude it for me today. And if you liked what you saw, have a give and follow like. And if you really like what you saw, how about a share? That would be great. And if you really like what you saw and you want to keep seeing me, hit that subscribe button so that way you don't miss any of my new upcoming content. And if you don't like what you see, you can unsubscribe at any time. There's no hard feelings, no commitments, no cash, nothing like that. You just get me. So, if you do this for a hobby or a living, just remember, guys and gals, stay safe, get wrenching. See you next time.